Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I am your co-host, Puma the Gato, the cat that hands your undisputed championship back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat stacks. Taking away from the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly Anti-His brothers and spicier content than your girls' only fans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. Happy Cinco de Mayo, y'all. Great fight. Great fight. What are we doing here? Listen, the fight just ended, I'm going to say about 20, 30 minutes ago. So me and my man wanted to jump on, record our initial thoughts, and kind of describe to you what went down in the fight. So, as we discussed in our previous video, and we actually went back and watched it before we jumped on, there's a number of things that we called right on the money. My man here called it. Mungia came in with flurries, lots of flurries. But Canelo was able to weather the storm and still retain his title. Now, as far as what did I get right? We both actually did call that Canelo was going to win. We both agreed that Canelo was going to be a little bit too much. One of the things that I noticed in the fight was, if you guys watch the first, second, and third round, first and second really, Mungia was laying it on thick. He was coming in, lots of flurries. A lot of them looked like they had a lot of sting to them. Canelo didn't panic the entire time. Kept calm. And up until the fourth round. The fourth round is when the tide really changed. What happened in the fourth round, you may ask? Canelo got that first knockdown. It came through uppercut. First it came through hook, then uppercut, followed by a final hook to the body. And I'll be honest with you, from that moment on, I think Mungia really questioned himself. What I mean by that is, Mungia was definitely laying it on thick throughout the fight, throughout the fight. But in the beginning is when he was definitely laying it on more than any other time. Now, at that point, when he got knocked down, it seemed like maybe the power is what really scared Mungia from really hitting the gas like he did normally, and just keep going with them flurries, because once he felt the power of Canelo, it kind of seems like he slowed down quite a bit, actually. Now, one of the things that I mentioned to my man, literally the first round, I told my man here, the way that Mungia was ducking and not picking up his guard, meaning when he would duck, he'd have his hands down here, he'd duck, and Canelo was throwing a lot of hooks, and I told my man right there at the beginning, the very first round, if he keeps doing that and he doesn't pick up his guard, he's going to get caught with those hooks, which a lot of the replays throughout the fight pointed that out exactly. Duck down, got hit with the hook. Dug down, got hit with the hook. He never picked up his guard. In fact, Mungia's guard was down the whole night, and Canelo just kept on throwing it in there. Canelo outlanded him in literally every category. The statistics afterwards were showing Canelo landing 44% of his overall punches, but he still beat Mungia in both punches to the head and to the body. I'll be honest with you, I think one of the things that I mentioned to my man here about midway through the fight is Canelo dictated the pace. The ring generalship is where Canelo was really good at maintaining. What do I mean by that? In the beginning, when Mungia was laying it on thick, throwing them flurries, going, Canelo looked to slow it down. And one of the things that was weird, the way that Mungia was going to win was through the jab. Canelo actually was landing better jabs, more jabs. In fact, I'm going to credit the jab for Canelo for one of the reasons why Mungia was slowed down. He kept on disrupting the pace. Now, don't get me wrong. I think in the end, it was definitely the power that won through for Canelo, because anytime that Mungia would let go of his hands, throw a flurry, Canelo would come back with a response, and it looked like it really buzzed him. Not necessarily rocked him, but it really buzzed him. And I think that was kind of the downfall of Mungia, was that first initial knockdown, and then from then on, it was just, he was very hesitant to fully just commit to everything, because every time he committed to the flurries, Canelo would hit him with something, and it looked like it would sting. I wouldn't call it quite rocking, but definitely buzzed. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, when we say anything critical about Jaime Mungia, it has nothing to do with us hating him as a fighter. It has nothing to do with us disliking him as a boxer. We want to see that, because honestly, when we saw the performance in the ring, I said, that is a fucking boxer right there. That is a guy that's taking it, everything on the chin. even with the knockdown that came in the fourth round, another knockdown didn't come forward. There were times where he was dizzy, and in fact, even in the later rounds, he looked a little bit lightheaded, a little dizzy, a little punch drunk. But you see the heart come through for Jaime Mungia, come through in this fight. And to be honest, there were a lot of points that I liked about Jaime Mungia, and there were a lot of points that I didn't like about Jaime Mungia. Again, he definitely had a lankier build, so that means that when he was ducking, he probably was having his hands lower than what he probably was a little bit less used to, especially considering that Canelo was shorter than him, so that's why those hooks that were going to the body were actually going to the temple. So that was the one thing that was messing him up. The one thing that I would say for Jaime to improve on is offensively, he is fine. Offensively, he comes in, even though Canelo was landing more punches in him, even though he was landing them more direct, more cleanly, more furiously. The fact of the matter is, Jaime Mungia wasn't afraid. No matter what that Canelo answered him. The only reason that he wasn't throwing as much flurries in the later rounds, because let's be honest, this man was kind of winded because of the amount of flurries that he was throwing in the first 4 rounds. So look, man, if there's one thing that you can fix, and it's not a negative thing. You're already a talented fighter as it is. It's a matter of, he's a diamond in the rough. Let's shine him up. Let's polish him up a little bit. Give him a little bit of stamina, a little bit more endurance training. Let's have Freddie Roach, if he's still going to be his coach after this, have him be a little bit more defensive in his, not just his punching strategy, but also try and fix any bad habits. Again, stop lowering your fist only to just about right here, because the top of your temple is still open. That's what got you in those rounds. That's what got you rocked. That's what got you dizzy. And granted, look, he got dizzy a couple of times from those Canelo shots, but he was still able to compose himself quite fine. So honestly, his constitution is actually still pretty good. But look, man, it's no matter what, like even once the decision got handed, he looked a little heartbroken, a little distraught, a little defeated. And look, man, when I say all of this, it's because I want to see more of Jaime Mungia's performance in the future. I know that there's already a good fight in there. I know there's a potential to be great. And to be honest, I saw some of that in that fight today. Look, man, you might have had an L in this fight, but look, man, don't let that dictate you, and B, you can use it as a perfect learning experience to iron out any flaws, to iron out any holes in your armor. Even though you lost, you can still be on top of the world right now. You can use this as a perfect experience. Don't let this defeat you. But what do you think? Am I off in my analysis, or what do you think about analysis, De Niro?
No, listen, man. I completely agree with you. I personally think that Mungia should definitely hold his head up high. Again, he lost to someone who's a certified Hall of Fame boxer. Listen, I think this shows a lot of glimpses of the way that Mayweather beat Canelo, in that it's not that exact same school of, because Mayweather took Canelo to school, but the flashes of the older boxer handing a younger boxer his first loss. I'm sure Mungia's hurt. I'm sure Mungia, is feeling down about taking his first loss. But hey, listen, man, come back. He's got a great future ahead of him. He shouldn't be ashamed of anything. Again, he does need to work on his defensive game. Again, the ducking down, not picking up his guard, leaving his guard down low, which he did it a lot. I actually did mention to my man here at the, I want to say 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th round, somewhere in there, that the question was going to be if Mungia can continue that pushing, continued those flurries constantly, because he was coming in real good first, second, and third round. But how long can you sustain that type of output? How long can you really keep just flurry? I did think he was going to start to gas out. I believe it was 4th, maybe 5th round, where I told my man here that it looked like Mungia was like doing that deep breathing, like kind of labored breathing. Yeah. So I do think he started getting a little winded. Again, it could have been maybe because of the 4th round knockdown. Again, I do think that Canelo's power definitely had Jaime Mungia questioning, should I throw a flurry right now? And he did, but every time that he did, I think a good amount of the time, Canelo came back with some sort of counter, and that counter seemed to sting Jaime Mungia. Either way, I thought it was a good fight. I will say this. In a couple of our other videos, we've addressed this. The fight between Canelo and Benavidez. Listen, I'll be honest with you. The Canelo that I saw tonight, I don't think beats David, man. I know a lot of people are going to give a shit for that. But I do think that Canelo looked good in there, not great. And I don't think Mungia is as good as Benavidez. So the fact that he looked good, not great, against the lesser Benavidez, I think it's not a good look. With that being said, listen, I will hold to my word. I said if Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez in September, that I will call it a duck. We're not there yet. Let's see what happens. Obviously, Canelo got asked a question in his after-fight interview. He didn't really answer. He basically did what all fighters at that level do, and they basically dodge and, I'm going to go spend time with the family. We'll see. We'll get back to the drawing board, and we'll let you guys know. You know, the PC answer. With that being said, listen, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's looking good, but we'll see. You never know. So boxing is a surprising game. Anything else you want to add to that, my man?
I think that's it for me for this analysis.
And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.